Lovely viewers, welcome back once again. Today's story is one that will surely touch the hearts of many of you who have followed the roller coaster journey of Korean actor Joong. The beloved star, known for his charm, immense talent, and ability to stir emotions both on and off screen, has once again found himself at the center of fan discussions worldwide. This time, it isn't about a new drama or a career milestone. It's about a deeply personal, emotional post he shared that has left many of his fans teary-eyed, wondering what is really going on behind the scenes. It all began when Joong uploaded a cryptic message on his social media late at night, a time when many fans were least expecting any updates. The post was short, almost too short, but heavy with unspoken words. He wrote a phrase that many interpreted as a reflection of loss, pain, and perhaps even regret. Almost instantly, fans across different platforms began reacting, some feeling heartbreak for the actor, others trying to piece together the puzzle of what he meant. And as you know, dear viewers, when it comes to stars like Joong, every little detail sparks speculation, emotion, and sometimes even tears. Imagine scrolling through your feed and suddenly seeing your favorite actor, someone who has given you comfort through his dramas, suddenly sharing words that suggest he is not okay. That's exactly what happened to his fandom. Thousands of fans started leaving supportive messages, some reminding him of how much they love him, while others admitted they cried after reading the words because it reminded them of their own struggles and heartbreaks. That connection between an artist and their fans is truly powerful. And in this moment, Joong reminded everyone that even stars we place so high on a pedestal are human too. Many viewers believe this post might be linked to his past, the moments of love and heartbreak that were once very public. Some are convinced it could be about lingering wounds from his divorce, while others think it may reflect the weight of expectations he constantly carries as a global figure. Whatever the case may be, the cryptic tone has opened up a floodgate of emotions, and fans are torn between respecting his privacy and worrying deeply about his well-being. What makes this moment even more emotional is how fans themselves began sharing their personal stories in response. In the comment sections, many confessed that they related to his words, stories of heartbreak, losing someone, or simply struggling through lonely nights. Suddenly, Joong's post became more than just a celebrity update. It turned into a collective space for healing, where people from different parts of the world connected with each other through tears and empathy. Isn't it beautiful, dear viewers, how pain sometimes unites people even across borders? Now let's think together. Why do cryptic posts like this hit us so hard? Perhaps it's because we don't often see stars like Joong being vulnerable. We watch them in dramas, acting strong, in control, and larger than life. But when they drop their guard and show their raw emotions, we realize they carry scars just like us. And in that moment, the line between celebrity and fan disappears. Many fans said reading his words felt like reading something they would write in their own diaries during a difficult time. What also makes this situation delicate is how fans are speculating whether the post had a deeper message, maybe even directed at someone from his past or present. Some believe it could be an indirect way of speaking about regrets in love, while others think it was simply an expression of a bad day. But whichever way we look at it, the emotional response shows how much he means to his followers. Fans are not just admiring his looks or talent, they genuinely care about his happiness. As one fan wrote under the post, "If you're hurting, we're hurting with you." Another said, "You've been our strength for years, now let us be your strength." Lovely viewers, do you feel the depth of those words? It's moments like these that remind us why fandoms are so strong. They don't just support a celebrity's career. They hold them up when life gets heavy. And clearly, Joong has a fanbase that refuses to let him feel alone, no matter how cryptic his words may be. This brings us to an important thought. Could this post be his way of asking for help without directly saying it? Sometimes, when someone we admire speaks in unclear terms, it's because they are trying to let out a little bit of their burden without fully exposing their vulnerability. If that is the case, then his fans have responded in the best way possible, by surrounding him with love, prayers, and hope. Dear viewers, as you reflect on this story, I invite you to also think about how many times you've wanted to say something but couldn't fully explain it. Maybe you too have written cryptic posts, hoping someone would understand your pain. And if you have, then you know exactly how Song Joong Ki might be feeling. That's why fans feel so connected to him. It's not just about being an actor, it's about being human. The tears sparked by his post are not just out of sadness for him, but also from the recognition of our own wounds mirrored in his words. That's the heartbreaking beauty of it. When he hurts, we see ourselves in him, and when we cry for him, we are also crying for ourselves. Now the big question remains. What happens next? Will Joong Ki open up more about what he truly meant? Or will he let the mystery remain, leaving fans to continue guessing? For now, all we can do is watch, wait, and hope he finds healing. And as always, lovely viewers, let's continue sending him our love from wherever we are, because even if we can't solve his pain, our support can remind him that he is never alone. So what do you think his cryptic words meant? Do you believe they are tied to his past love, his current struggles, or something entirely different? Share your thoughts, lovely viewers, because your voice matters, and just as fans are supporting him, we too are part of this journey of love, loss, and hope. When we paused earlier, we were left asking questions. What do his words really mean, and how should we as fans respond? That is where our continuation begins, because the emotional aftermath of Song Joong Ki's cryptic post is just as powerful as the post itself. After the first wave of shock, fans began creating hashtags to show support, spreading messages like "Stay strong Joong Ki" and "We are with you." These hashtags quickly trended, not only in South Korea but across different countries where his fans reside. Imagine, dear viewers, thousands of strangers from different time zones typing the same words at the same time, all because one man's unspoken pain touched them so deeply. That collective energy is what makes fandoms magical. They can transform sorrow into solidarity. But what's even more moving is how people began sharing personal letters addressed to him. Some fans posted long, heartfelt notes about how his dramas had saved them during their own dark times. Others confessed that they had experienced heartbreak too, and that his work gave them comfort when they felt they had no one else to lean on. In a way, Joong Ki's post opened a door, not just for his vulnerability, but for his fans as well. It became a two-way healing process. Can you see how beautiful that is, lovely viewers? At the same time, however, some fans couldn't help but let their curiosity run wild. They speculated that the cryptic post could be connected to memories of his marriage and divorce. Others wondered if it was a subtle message aimed at someone in his present life, perhaps something about love that has not been revealed to the public. While we may never know for certain, one thing is clear. Every interpretation comes from a place of love and concern. The tears we see from fans are not just curiosity. They are empathy poured into words. And then, something unexpected began happening. Some fans admitted that they felt guilty for enjoying his dramas without realizing how much he might have been struggling behind the scenes. They asked themselves, have we celebrated his smile without seeing the sadness in his eyes? Have we demanded so much of him as an actor that we forgot he is a human being too? Lovely viewers, this kind of reflection is rare, and it shows how deeply his cryptic post has impacted people beyond just being celebrity gossip. It has made fans reconsider the humanity of the stars they adore. But let's also be honest, cryptic posts can be double-edged swords. While they create emotional waves, they also leave people unsettled. Some fans expressed frustration, wishing he had spoken more clearly about what he was going through. They said they wanted to help, but didn't know how if he didn't open up more directly. Others, however, defended him, pointing out that sometimes words cannot fully capture what someone feels, and perhaps his message was the bravest way he could express himself without breaking completely. Lovely viewers, let's put ourselves in his shoes for a moment. Imagine being adored by millions, yet feeling a private emptiness that you cannot explain. Imagine wanting to cry out for help, but knowing that every word you post will be dissected, analyzed, and perhaps even misunderstood. How would you express your pain? Maybe you too would choose to write something cryptic, something short, something safe, knowing only those who truly care would understand. That is the burden of being someone like Song Joong Ki. The more time passes, the more fans notice that his post has stirred conversations about mental health in the entertainment industry. People are beginning to talk openly about the silent battles stars face, and many have called for agencies to provide better emotional support to actors. It's almost as if Joong Ki's single cryptic line has ignited a movement, reminding the world that fame doesn't protect anyone from heartbreak, loneliness, or fear. Now here is where the tears deepen. Some fans have said his words reminded them of when they themselves almost gave up hope. They wrote in forums and fan groups that seeing him, someone they admire so much, speak so vulnerably gave them strength to keep going. Isn't it moving, dear viewers, that his pain could give someone else hope? That is the paradox of life. Sometimes the most heartbreaking moments become the most healing ones for others. And yet, questions still remain. Will Song Joong Ki post again to clarify his feelings? Will he let his fans know if he is okay? Or will he continue to keep his emotions shrouded in mystery, leaving everyone guessing? For now, the silence speaks almost as loudly as the cryptic words themselves. And in that silence, fans continue to pour their hearts out, hoping he can feel their love through the screen. Lovely viewers, let us take this continuation as an opportunity to remind ourselves of something important. Celebrities may have fame, but they still need compassion. Song Joong Ki's post is a reminder that behind the glitz and glamour, there are moments of fragility. And maybe, just maybe, our role as fans is not only to cheer when he succeeds, but also to stand quietly by his side when he is hurting. So let's keep asking ourselves, what if his post was his way of reaching out to us? What if our tears, our words of comfort, are exactly what he needs right now? In times like this, the line between fan and friend becomes blurry, and the power of empathy becomes stronger than any screen. Lovely viewers, the story doesn't end here. It lives on in every fan who reads his words, feels his pain, and chooses to respond with love. This is the continuation, not just of a cryptic post, but of a bond that proves how deeply one actor can touch the world, even with the simplest of messages. This is the continuation, not just of a cryptic post, but of a bond that proves how deeply one actor can touch the world, even with the simplest of messages. And yet, as days passed without a clear follow-up from Song Joong Ki, the silence itself became louder than words. Fans found themselves checking his social media constantly, refreshing pages over and over again, as though waiting for a sign, a small reassurance that he was okay. But nothing came, and that waiting period stretched like an ache in the hearts of those who love him most. What made this silence even more powerful was the way fans began to interpret it. Some said it was his way of processing emotions privately, while others worried that the absence of explanation meant the wounds behind the cryptic post were deeper than anyone had imagined. Lovely viewers, you know that silence has a way of amplifying emotions, sometimes louder than shouting. And in this case, fans felt every second of it, filling the void with their own reflections, memories, and hopes for his healing. Communities of fans began to host live streams and online discussions, not only to speculate on what Joong Ki might have meant, but also to comfort one another. Think about that for a moment. People from different continents, strangers who may never meet, gathering in virtual spaces simply because one man's words had touched their souls. Isn't that the definition of a global family? One fan even described it as, Joong Ki brought us together in his sadness, and now we stand together as his shield. But beyond the emotional gatherings, there was another layer unfolding. Journalists began picking up on the story, with articles questioning the deeper meaning of the post. Some framed it as a possible glimpse into his unresolved personal struggles, while others cautiously suggested it could be a creative expression, something symbolic, not literal. This sparked debates among fans. Should his words be dissected by the media, or should they remain a private expression between him and those who follow him? Lovely viewers, this is where we need to pause and reflect together. Isn't it true that when we love someone deeply, even someone we may never meet, we feel protective of their pain? Fans began calling for respect, urging the media not to sensationalize the post, but instead to approach it with the same tenderness they themselves were showing. And that in itself is proof of how powerful Joong Ki's connection is with his audience. His words didn't just create curiosity, they created responsibility. Meanwhile, artists, fellow actors, and even quiet industry voices began sharing subtle messages of support. Some reposted hopeful quotes. Others left simple likes on fan messages dedicated to him. Though no one openly addressed his post, it was clear that the ripple of his words had reached not only fans but also his peers. Lovely viewers, doesn't that show how interconnected hearts are in moments of vulnerability? And then came the most moving gesture. Some fans organized a global project. They began collecting letters, artwork, videos, and messages of love from around the world, with plans to deliver them to his agency as a way of saying, "We see you, we love you, and we're with you." Just imagine the weight of that love. Thousands of voices woven into one collective gift, born out of a single cryptic message. That's not just fandom, that's a movement of healing energy. Yet, even as love poured in, there was another truth fans couldn't ignore. Many felt that his post mirrored their own personal heartbreaks. They began confessing online that the reason they cried wasn't only because they feared for him, but because they saw themselves in his pain. They too had written late-night cryptic posts. They too had wished someone would notice. And so, Song Joong Ki became not just an actor they admired, but a mirror of their own hidden struggles. Lovely viewers, isn't it powerful how one person's expression of pain can unlock healing for countless others? That is what this moment has become, a shared journey of empathy. The heartbreak of Song Joong Ki's post has transformed into a wave of compassion that stretches far beyond him. And while we still don't know exactly what his words meant, perhaps we don't need to. Perhaps the meaning lies not in the specifics, but in the feelings it awakened. And so, the story continues. Not in his next post, not in a public announcement, but in the quiet conversations fans are having with themselves and with each other. It continues in the hearts of those who were reminded that even the strongest, most admired faces can carry invisible scars. And it continues in the reminder that sometimes when words fail us, love speaks louder than anything. Lovely viewers, as we move forward with this story, let us keep asking ourselves, what more can we do as fans, as supporters, as human beings, to ensure that people like Song Joong Ki never feel alone in their moments of heartbreak?